So hello and welcome. It's been a minute. I've been busy looking after my son. So today I want to talk about how that was. Yeah, so I'm in my sunroom, and which is a room between the apartment and the balcony, which is right there. Anyway, so last week my wife was away, and I had the pleasure, as I always do, but I had the pleasure of looking after my son by myself. But we kind of had got a new special kind of bond through that week together. So I would wake up every day during the week, take him to nursery. Before that, make sure he got up on time, give him a bath or a shower, make sure he's clean, do his hair, brush his teeth, because he's got a lot of teeth. Give him some breakfast and make sure he's ready to go for the day. I also had to get rid of myself, which was an interesting challenge to balance me getting ready and my son too. So it was an interesting task, but I made it work. I had to go really early though. Normally on a regular work day, I would get up at 6:30, 7. Because I had to get my son ready, I'd get up at 5:30, get myself ready first, have a shower, and then at 6:30, get my son up, make sure he's had a shower or a bath, get him ready, and then we'd eat breakfast together, then go. So that was an interesting challenge. Night times were interesting too. Normally when he wakes up in the night, he's got my wife to grab onto. He's still breastfeeding, but yeah, normally he would wake up, my wife would come in and breastfeed him a little bit, and he would settle back down. My wife wasn't here, so I couldn't do that. So I had to comfort him in a different way. And what I learned is how to get him to sleep, how to calm him down without him having my wife around. But yeah, it was nice. It was a nice experience. We went to the zoo on the weekend. We went to the park. I went for a drive a few times. And it was really nice. When my wife got back, she noticed that he was very clingy to me, which I was happy about, because normally he's clingy to mom, but he was really clingy to me. And I think it's because of this week. He's more closer to me now. Even though I've spent so much time with him, I spend a lot of time with my son now. I still wake up and get him ready and things like that, but my wife's back now, so I can lean on her and get support from her when I need, and vice versa really. But yeah, last week was really nice. A challenge, but very nice. Today, that's what I want to be talking about fatherhood really. Okay, so as I've kind of give you a brief overview of last week, what do I want to talk about fatherhood and why I think it's important for me to talk about it? I didn't have a father figure, so I'm learning how to be a dad through my mistakes and my actions, and through other good men, whether that be a movie or people I meet. My father-in-law, he's a really good guy, really good man. I've got really good friends. One in particular lives in Japan, and I look at him as a great role model as what it means to be a man and also a father. I've got a few other friends like that back in the UK, which I look at and respect how they carry themselves, not just as a father but as a man. But yeah, growing up for me was interesting because I didn't have any guidance from a man. It was just me and my mum. So I had to figure it all out. I had to learn what it means to be a man. I had to learn about how to respect myself, how to look after myself, how to dress myself, how to clean myself properly as a man. I think it's very important that if you have a son, you make sure you show him how to look after himself, cleaning, clothes, everything really. I had to do that by myself. I didn't have anyone to kind of show me that, or anyone directly to show me, no one to sit me down and say, this is how you do this, or this is how you do that. But last week kind of highlighted the importance of being a dad and trying the best you can. So yeah, what did last week teach me? I'm quite a responsible person anyway, but last week I had a lot of responsibility. I not only had to take care of myself, take care of the house, had to make sure my son was looked after, had to make sure he was fed, make sure he was happy, make sure he went to nursery on time. I had to make sure I had everything he needed for nursery and everything I needed for my work. So there's a lot of responsibility there, which I'm not shy of. I'm not afraid of responsibility. It was a different type of responsibility. It kind of made me think, if my wife had to be away for longer, what kind of systems would I put in place? But I kind of had a good routine. The most important thing for me was waking up early. If I did not wake up early, it would have been a massive problem. And I think the discipline of waking up early is what helped me last week, and following my structure, understanding the responsibility that I had. And I have now, because it's not gone away just because my wife's gone back. I still got it. I didn't get a chance to get any help. Like, I could have asked for help from my mother and father-in-law, but they have their own life to live. My son is not their responsibility, so I have to make sure that he's okay. So I didn't have anyone to kind of fall back on, which was, I didn't worry about. I didn't even think about, I need help. I was just okay. On Friday, I had to go to my tea class, which was tough because I had to bring him, which is fine, no problem at all. But I couldn't get to actually practice properly because my son was there. Because my wife wasn't around, he was quite clingy to me, so I couldn't just leave him on his own, mainly because he was away from me all day at nursery, and then he would come back and he would want to just be with me. So, which was totally okay. I learned, make sure that you have a routine, and make sure you are responsible as much as possible. And I think if you're responsible, your routine will naturally come as well. So last week reinforced what it means to be present in somebody's life, especially a child. If I wasn't present, if I was just always on my phone, or I was just doing something else, he would have not responded well to that. He doesn't have anyone else to kind of fall back on. Didn't have my wife, didn't have his grandparents, anyone. Yeah, he only had me. So I had to make sure that I was present, notice what he's doing. So last week kind of reinforced being present in my son's life. Even though I'm always present, if he needs me, I'm always there. But it just kind of reiterated the importance of presence in someone's life. As I says, I didn't have that. I had to figure a lot by myself. Fortunately, my life circumstances, even though they weren't great, I got to meet a lot of really good people, and indirectly they were present in my life, which influenced how I became a person, if that makes sense. Yeah, so a lot of people I met, I worked with, I came into contact with, their presence massively influenced me. By your presence in my life massively influences me and has influenced me in the past to become the person I am. So yeah, going back to what I was saying, being present for my son was vital, because as I said, if I wasn't paying attention to him, he wouldn't be happy and he would be doing something maybe even dangerous and cause himself some harm. So I didn't want that. Yeah, presence, super important. The pressure of the challenge. So last week it was a challenge, a big challenge for me. The first time me being on my own with my son for that long, 7 days, just me and my son. Not a problem at all, but it was a massive challenge. Challenges bring pressure. So I had to not buckle under the pressure of the challenge, really. And I believe I didn't. No problem at all. It's my son, it's my responsibility. I gotta make sure he's okay. But yeah, pressure is a challenge. And having a challenge builds character. I believe if you just sail through life and you don't have any challenges, nothing kind of gives you any bumps in the road, you don't really grow. I think challenges and pressure, as difficult as they might be in the time that you're experiencing that, they are a massive help for your life. Even though my childhood wasn't good at all, there were points, don't get me wrong, there were points where I had a fun time with family members and cousins and stuff like that, but 90% of the time wasn't good. I believe the bad times for me made me the person I am. It made me strong, made me look at the world in a different way. And I believe if you don't have any challenges in life, whether they be serious challenges or just minor challenges, then you can't really grow as a person. And I think if you don't grow as a person and you don't really know who you are, you're just kind of floating around thinking you're this person, thinking you're that person, but you're not really, because you don't know who you are. I think challenges ground you. They force you to know who you are. Challenges are important, and last week was a massive challenge, but a beautiful one. It made our bond stronger, and I'm so happy that I was able to have that experience with him, even though I see him every day. Yeah. So last week, was just a normal week. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't spectacular. We didn't do crazy things. We just woke up, got ready, ate breakfast, went to school, I went to work, came back, ate dinner, and got ready for bed, went to bed. That was it. It was just a normal routine, nothing crazy. But the simple normality of the day, doing the ordinary routinely, if you do it, just normal things, gives you discipline. You don't have to do extravagant things to gain discipline. As long as you get up, brush your teeth, make your bed, and just live the best way you can, then that can be a kind of quiet discipline in itself. And I think by just doing ordinary things well creates discipline. So last week was me doing very ordinary things with my son as well as I could, which gave me a lot of happiness through discipline. Doing ordinary things creates discipline. Okay, so to wrap this video up, what did me spending time with my son teach me? It taught me a lot about myself, a lot about how I care and how I thought I would care. So before having children, I thought I would deal with things a lot differently than I actually do. I believed that I would be a lot more aggressive with unruliness and tantrums and stuff like that. Whereas I've kind of sat myself down and I understand that even though it might be frustrating for me, I have to kind of be the adult. I have to be calm. I have to be respectful of why my son is upset. I don't want to just lash out at him because that's not the grown-up thing to do. And yeah, I just had to be the responsible person and not lose my cool. So last week kind of reinforced why I need to pay attention to what's going on with my son, like his feelings, how he's feeling, is he okay, and don't overreact. You give your son or daughter or your child or your children 100% of your attention, and that's all they need. Making sure that they're seen and they're heard when they want to speak, taking part in helping them build something or playing with them, showing them what you're doing. Sometimes I might be cooking and he wants my attention, so what I did, I got the chair. We have like a stool, wooden stool. I got the stool, sat him on the chair, not so close so he can burn himself, but I made sure he saw what I was doing. Yeah, I had fun. Thank you for sticking with me up until this point. Really appreciate you coming back to just hear what's on my mind, really. As I mentioned before, this is a kind of therapy for me, and it's nice. It's nice to have a conversation with you guys or myself, whichever it is. Thank you for your time. Until the next one, peace. Bye bye.